Okay, my name is Ben. I am an international speaker, author, as well as a public speaking coach. Okay, you can try. Hi, my name is Benjamin Low. I'm an international speaker, public speaking coach, as well as a published author. My work predominantly lies in Asia. I speak, train, and coach across 8 different countries. So when my clients call me up on stage to speak, usually it's around the areas of helping different generations mend the gaps and get people closer, and of course to create more synergies for different corporations to work better, to get the results and to be more efficient. I think to me, quality interpretation is a non-negotiable, especially when your audience are non-native English speakers or they do not comprehend global English. So for me as a public speaking coach for the past 11 years, I think I know my way around sort of getting messages across cross-culture. So there's 2 parts to it. First part is the content. So a good quality interpreter needs to know the nuances of the language, needs to be precise across translating first the text in English to the host language. And I think that in itself takes someone who's masterful, who's artful with the language to understand, how should a certain expression in English or global English be expressed in the host language. And that's a humongous task that a lot of interpreters sometimes are not very adept and well trained in. Right, so there's precision in the language, there's also the clarity of the language, and that's one whole chunk of work. We then go into delivery, which is really making sure that all the energy, the antics, the tonality, down to the vocal inflections, down to even acting and being like that speaker on stage, it's really almost in a carbon copy form, produced and reproduced. For whom? For the benefit of the audience. When learning events are being created, we oftentimes spend a good budget on the speakers, as well as the electronic speakers, the logistics, the food. But one of the things that's especially neglected is a quality interpreter. So for me, I think a quality interpreter is non-negotiable, and it goes as far as to make or break that event. So it's something that I would say event managers, event organizers, you should not be stinging on that. So I first met Wahyu when I was speaking in Puncak in Indonesia in July of 2017. And I think it's been tremendous. It's been a great experience working. In fact, great is the understatement. I think working with Wahyu, he's always been very meticulous. I still recall the first time I met him, we did a sit-down conversation, and on top of just knowing the text, knowing the content, he was also very concerned about delivery. And he would tell me, like, for example, Ben, this is how you want to work an Indonesian audience. And for example, if you're asking a question or delivering a joke, he even tells me a lot of localized knowledge. So I think a few things really stand out for Wahyu, right? One, he's always professional. And I think the professionalism cuts across just being on stage, but being off stage. And I think that's where interpreters, sometimes, they falter. They think that they just have a script and they can deliver that. And I think that cannot be further away from truth. Wahyu takes a lot of effort professionalizing it and making sure that he knows how to say, what to say, when to say, and why we are even saying it. I think the second thing that really stands out for me for Wahyu is he's also a consummate stage professional, right? So there are some people who are good with language but prefer to be in a box. But for Wahyu, he's wholly comfortable being on stage, being alive. And sometimes, working an Indonesian audience, I think he's even more alive than me, and that sometimes puts me to shame, right? So for him, he's a live wire, and he's been known in the market as a theatrical interpreter, which is rare.
So for example, you see Clark's example just now on the Crazy Rich Asians post. You saw the post all is short, punchy, to the point. Anda lihat postingannya itu ringkas, bernas, langsung pada poin.
He's just this ball of passion, ball of energy on stage. I mean, most interpreters have to be good with words, that's the basic premise. But not everyone is good with crowds, good with people. And every time I see Wahyu on stage working with me, it's just like seeing a replica but with more energy, more localized content, which makes me wonder, sometimes is Wahyu just a professional speaker in his previous life? The third thing is I think he's always very nimble and sharp. I still recall there was one time, I was like doing training. In fact, it happened so many times. At 5 p.m, as a trainer myself, my energy would be spent. But at 5 p.m, you still see Wahyu always nimble, always almost ready to serve the audience. And sometimes, from the content that I train, he's become so much of an expert. He's being able to even like help my audience out, answer questions for them in Bahasa. I think without a doubt, where can you find such a great interpreter? So in all, I think there isn't a better person I know in the whole of Indonesia who can be masterful, artful with words in the content side, and yet be able to deliver the whole message with the intended essence, with the intended intentions, and really bring that speech, the learning event, the whole entire presentation to life. Right? So if you're delivering a piece of work in Indonesia, you need someone to really help you to get your message across. Look no further than Wahyu Ginting.